Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Onyx Path Twitch, where hopefully we look okay, we sound okay, and we are in fact here for the latest episode of They Came from the Cyclops' Cave, Warriors of Legend, Season 2, Episode 1. Can you believe it? We got through our first arc.
Woo!
Everything is alive, everyone has survived for the most part, and we are ready to rock and roll. Before we get started, a couple things to pay the bills, as we say. Um, just now, the latest episode of the Onyx Pathcast has gone live. This episode is going to cover the forthcoming StoryPath Ultra um, crowdfunding campaign. We're doing a crowdfunding campaign for the StoryPath Ultra Core Manual. Very excited to get that out there because that'll get a sort of uh, not only the base set of Ultra rules out there in a playable form, but also has a lot of tips in there for creating your own settings. It's got a sample setting in there, and depending on how the crowdfunder goes, might have a couple of settings in there. And yeah, it's just generally uh, looks like it's going to be an awesome time. So you can check out all the information about that over at the Pathcast. You can also um, sign up over at BackerKit to be notified um, when the core manual is going to be live. So I'm going to pop that link in the chat. And then, of course, it would be silly of me, as we are playing They Came from the Cyclops' Cave, to not make mention of the fact that They Came from the Cyclops' Cave is available over in PDF and POD at DriveThruRPG. And I will dig up that link and post it in the chat. But as I do, let's go ahead and meet our cast. So if you could, starting with MK, please tell us who you are, what you do, who you're playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, anything you would care to promote.
Let's see. I am MK Anderson. I used to be the managing editor at Onyx Path, but now I am off uh, editing manga and light novels elsewhere, but I still occasionally write and edit. I am playing Hilda Warrior Princess. My pronouns are any, but you can't go wrong with she, her. And I think that covers all of it.
Rock and roll. We're so glad to have you here. I look forward to seeing how Hilda reacts to the uh, new status quo in our little world.
Everything is fine. Don't worry about it.
Everything is fine.
Everything is awesome.
Speaking of fine and awesome, if you could, Millie, please give us all of your pertinent details.
Sure. Hi. My name is Millie, also known as Bunny Hearted. I'm a doofus retro anime bunny girl villain VTuber with a cool slime on my head and a song in my heart. I still at some point need to do like a weird singing thing just to make that part real. But I'm here playing Belladonna Blightwood, the daughter of the big bad who's now maybe just the big sad instead of bad. We'll see. We'll see. Some things have changed. Um, I'm so excited to be back to this game. This was such a blast, and I cannot wait to see how things develop from here. I've been trying to figure out like short-term and long-term aspirations, all of that stuff. I don't know. It's nice to be back.
Well, it's nice to have you back. And in terms of aspirations, I think we'll be able to go ahead and have a little leeway with these. Is this week is really sort of a introduction to our new status quo. We have Hilda has been comatose in a magical coma for some time, and so we need to get Hilda caught up on what's going on, and we need to establish for the audience and for our players what the current state of the world is. As at the end of last season, there were some major shifts. But rather than go through a big long recap here with me, let's focus our recap on the eyes of a player character. And we will begin with Hilda. Hilda is asleep comfortably on a bed, but as the camera sort of widens out and we see the room that Hilda's in, it is no longer the room in the Mage Tower where she had been previously. being kept for safekeeping. No, this is a different room in a strange place, perhaps that has never been seen before. It's well decorated in colors of purple, gray, and blue. There's a four-post bed that has purple silks hanging over it. And as we take in the area, you also notice several items. There's like a vanity that has a couple of what appear to be some sort of magical staves sort of leaning against the end of it. There seem to be wands set out on the vanity among various also makeup and hair product things along those lines, brushes, the various types of things one would expect for grooming, but just with some magic wands sort of scattered in there. And with that, as we pan back across to the bed, Hilda's eyes shoot open. You are suddenly conscious once again.
I think she looks for her weapon immediately. Just sort of doesn't know where she is. We're looking for our weapon. We're looking for a cane.
You look over.
Um,
Your cane is leaned up against the side of the bed. Your weapon is missing.
okay, so we're grabbing the cane and we're getting up. What are we in a nightgown or being what I was fell asleep in? Like my
You've been placed in a nightgown. The nightgown is purple with like black accents and lace. Like there's like a little like pseudo button-up area that goes down about 2 inches from the neckline. The edges of the sleeves have the black lace accents as well. This color scheme and the arrangement of the accents strikes you as very familiar, and as you look around, so does the decor in here. This, everything about this screams Mother Blightwood.
oh I think no context on this, but my sworn enemy. uh, so I anything about the room stick out in terms of like, am I imprisoned? Anything like that?
This seems to be a bedroom. There does not seem to be. There is a lock, like a skeleton key type lock on the door, but when you go over to check it, it clicks open. It is not locked.
All right. So, can I search for my weapon in the room, or is it?
Sure, yeah. You look around the room, and there are no swords in here. There are magic wands. There are staves. There's your cane, and there is like a walking stick that seems to be weighted on both ends to be used as like a more aggressive weapon in case you need it. But there is not a
Yeah.
single blade in this room.
Okay, I'll get the more aggressive stick, and we're gonna. I'm not very sneaky, so we're just gonna throw open the door and look around outside.
As you fling open the door, it becomes very clear to you that you are in the inside of a castle. You can see the stonework on the various walls. You can tell that this castle seems to be undergoing like a redecoration. Like several of the doors are just this like unfinished wood color, but you see like one of them is painted like in rainbow colors. One of them is painted with like butterflies on it, and it looks like it's about halfway done. So this hallway is filled with these odd wooden doors And then going down the other way, you can see a stairway that leads downward. You also hear some muffled noises coming from up those stairways. It sounds like it might be combat, or it could be just some sort of like rough situation going on down there.
We're running toward the combat.
Excellent.
I think she's kind of confused about how well the color scheme seems less evil, but we're not going to think too hard about that.
As you run down the
Don't worry
stairs,
about it.
as you step onto the stairway and round the corner, what, pray tell, Belladonna, is the cause of all this noise in the throne room as you are directing the various lizard folk to assist you in your redecoration and or rehabilitation of the room?
So I think we have like OSHA doesn't exist, right? So we sort of have like a step ladder stacked on top of two other step ladders, like a house of step ladder cards. And I think Belladonna is at the very top of it, holding on to the step ladder, trying to hang some decorations on the ceiling, while one of the snakes has hit one of the bottom ladders with their tail, causing a teeter-tottering bit of a circumstance where they're all desperately trying to hold a bunch of ladders up while she's hanging from the roof, trying to hang up a decoration with her other hand with determination in her heart.
You notice among this, this is the, as far as you know, Skullface's throne room. But there appears to be like a metal grate has been put over the bottomless pit that ran along behind the throne. And the throne itself has been updated in various colors and made to look far more welcoming. The snake people are sort of shouting at one another like I told you that stack of ladders wasn't going to work. You need to go down into the armory and get a real ladder. Like, oh, she's fine. She's got this. If nothing else, she can use a spell to fall to the ground slowly.
Just like grunting of determination. One more nail, one more. Just reaching.
Why don't you go ahead and give me for Belladonna? I know this is probably so
Oh
great for
no.
her, but let's do it athletics and whichever attribute you would like to pair that with, please.
Great. Let's make it dice because that's a total of 2 dice.
Awesome. Give it a go.
Let's do it.
Your target number is 8.
So I got 1. I'm
Awesome.
pretty stoked on that. I just so I'm remembering because it's been a while. I roll d10s, right?
Yes, D10s. You're looking for
Okay,
8s
good.
or better, and if you get a 10, it's 2.
I had a moment where I was like, "Are these d6s?" But that's why I rolled an 8 and 6.
Okay,
I'll take it.
so you're like on your tiptoes as the thing is swaying
These
back and
ladders
forth.
are also on their ladder tiptoe.
But you do get it, get the last nail in before the whole thing starts to come crashing down. Seeing this,
She will let out a dramatic woohoo as she, I guess, hopefully catches herself with magic on her way to the ground.
and you see like all of the snake people that are at the bottom are like, ah! And like ladders just go flying in every direction as they try to like lock arms beneath you. However, you do manage to just slow your fall with magic, gently landing in their interlocked arms.
Land kind of smug. That's right. You thought I couldn't get that nail. Ha! Fools that you are. And then pat one of the snakes. Thanks for the help.
They all nod and start giggling, and then
Completely and utterly unaware that there is, a cool hero in our midst.
one of them actually behind you, like
Yeah.
their head like pops up from behind you and like looks up and goes, "Intruder!"
Huh?
I'm like ready to fight immediately.
As you look over, there's Helga or Hilda in a nightgown, one of your mother's nightgowns, you're certain, holding like this weighted walking staff and ready to fight.
Oh, good morning. How are you feeling?
What the hell is going on? Just good
We
morning.
are redecorating.
Is this? I assume this is your mother's castle.
Well, it's sort of more complicated than that now, but yes, it was.
All right.
This is a whole plan for the place. Complicated.
Okay. Did we defeat her? Or did we defeat?
Uh-huh.
I think
I
Hilda
probably should
just
have left
kind
you
of.
a note. I've just been really distracted. How are you feeling?
I think Hilda just kind of sits on the floor, just because it's like, well, I don't, I don't know what I do right now. I don't know. Uh,
You hear
I
a
guess I'm
Gonna float
fine.
over and sit cross-legged on the floor next to you, and then scoot back again. It's sort of like a moment of like, oh wait, what if she hits me with the stick? Scoots back a couple of feet.
you
Yeah,
hear
I'm just.
you hear a voice come in from like below, like the stairs leading up into the throne room, as Mother Blightwood, now with long, freely flowing white hair, dressed in white robes with like a purple accent on them, carrying one of her magical staves, uh, kind of floats up into the throne room. And she says, "Hilda, I'm glad you're awake. I'm sorry, I came as soon as the spell notified me that you were conscious."
She's just unsure of what to make of this. She's got that flush of, I don't like you. I don't know what's going on. Uh, so she just kind of grips her staff and asks, "What the hell is going on here?"
Says, "Well,
So,
do you want to tackle this, Bella?"
uh, sure. So we won. Turns out this friendship stuff is good for something. It's like power of it and stuff. Things went surprisingly well, and now we're kind of remaking the castle to serve, more than just those who sit on the throne here. And we kind of get along now. She's gonna like point fingers back and forth between her and her mom. It's chill.
I
Oh,
was thankfully I was shown the error of my ways, the narrow sight with which I was viewing the world, and that has given me some new insight.
I mean, feelings can be frightening and scary and a lot, but they're better than not having them, right?
She nods. Indeed.
yeah.
And so now we have been, just as Bella and um, the serpent folk have been working on rehabilitating the castle, I've been doing everything I can to rehabilitate the lands that were affected in the blight.
Well, good. Good. It's good. Good to see you. Um,
It's good to see you too. She blushes a little bit. She says, I have a lot of apologizing to do and a lot of explaining to do, and I know I have a lot to make up for, but I genuinely would like the chance to."
I this is a lot to take in. I'm going to. I think she's kind of taken aback. I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I have a life back home.
And you're welcome to it, but you're also welcome to help us sort things out. And I mean, I'm sure that uh, you and Alice will have a few things to discuss too. And
Oh, absolutely.
I
Is
just
she safe?
quite, I just saw
Better
her
be.
flying in. In fact, if the audience will bear with us for just a moment, we're going to take a quick second and switch around our cameras. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to throw up the back soon screen. We'll be right back.
Oh. Warning.
All right, everybody. Thank you for your patience. We have now returned, and as we return, if you're just joining us, Hilda had woken up confused, little in a strange environment, and as she came out, she found not only Bella in the process of redecorating, but found Mother Blightwood, who'd floated in sort of almost like white robes with purple inlay, her white hair now hanging freely, uh, trying to give off a much more positive aura. And as they were discussing the difficulties, Hilda had asked about Alice, and Mother Blightwood had said that Alice was arriving. And the camera cuts outside as Alice is riding on a giant winged Pegasus that has like metal armor on in her full
Right.
Oh,
like
cool.
hero plate, sword on her back. There's like fucking like metal, heavy metal music playing in the background, and she comes, all muscles and badassery comes sweeping down into the hangar to the castle. Um, Hops off the steed, gives it a little pat, and walks into the throne room. Now, once you have landed, are you going to maintain your transformed form, or are you going to let it go once you're back in the castle?
It's so tempting to just be this all of the time, but no, I think that especially around the people that she's close to, Alice is very much like back to herself whenever she's at home, she's comfortable. It's take it's literally like taking off the armor, I think at this point. So I
Right.
think, gets in, gets settled, actually does take off some of the armor. There's probably a place for the armor in the hangar so that when she's on her way somewhere, she can just
Well,
whip it on.
the bright side is you never have to actually take it off. You just,
It's all part of the magical
yeah.
transformation. Love that for me.
Yes.
So,
So you land and do your reverse magical girl transformation, and
yep.
walk in normally to find Mother Blightwood, Bella, and Hilda all like on the steps leading in. The snake people are still working on the redecoration of the throne room, but
It's a big task.
they've kind of like rushed off to the side to give these people space because it seemed like there was something wrong. And you all see Aylis come walking in with the sword on her back.
Oh, Hilda, you're awake. And she like literally will like kind of half jog over to Hilda. How are you feeling?
I'm confused, to be honest with you.
Yeah, a lot happened. Oh, and I borrowed this.
Mhm.
Sorry. And off her back. And like,
It looks good on you.
Mother Blightwood
it's really
leans
big.
in and says, "Oh, you haven't seen her transform. It looks stellar on her."
Gonna awkwardly blush a little.
It's like if there were questions like animated, there would just be question marks around him. Aylis is just that.
Yeah, I think she, Hilda's having a mild crisis. Like, it sounds like you didn't need me. So,
I don't think that's true. I mean, we wouldn't have gotten as far as we did without you. And then when you were also a motivating plot point while you were asleep.
Mother,
And a person we were worried about.
We were very worried about you. I'm so
Notably
glad you're
more
okay.
than a plot point.
Mother Blightwood
Yeah,
also
just, yeah,
says,
like, you
That's
know.
a little.
Mother Blightwood also says, "I don't know that they would have been able to convince me if not for your presence." So
I think I need a bath or a drink or food.
Both?
I need one of the. I need all of the.
let's conjure all three of those for you. I'll whip a few things up, and Mother Blightwood flies out of the room.
Actually, Hilda, do you have just a second? Can I just talk to you for a second?
Sure.
Great. And Aylis is gonna take her aside and be like, "Yeah, I don't know if you really think that we don't need you, but I have no idea what I'm doing."
Well, oh goodness. Okay. Well, I think I feel a little better about that for no good reason. Just, it's hard being 90 something and yeah.
I picked up your sword and I got really huge, and now everybody expects me to do things.
I mean, there comes a time in a woman's life when you get really huge and people expect you to do things.
Like that. Anyway, I guess what I'm saying is, if you're up to it, I could just really use someone to help me kind of adjust to all of this.
Yeah. No, and if you could help me adjust to all this, I mean, like, Mother Blightwood's kind of my ex, and I'm used to her being like actually evil, and everybody agreeing she's evil, and now she's just normal, and now I don't know how to be, and
like on top of that, even though she's your ex, you're kind of like one of the biggest reasons she became good again, which has got to be a little bit weird.
yeah, no,
The other one's Bella, obviously, and to kind of like smile over her shoulder at Bella. Yeah.
I did awkward wave.
And
you
is Bella
too.
just sitting on the stairs like this whole time? Has they been pulled aside?
Yeah, well, they're off talking alone. Yeah, she's just like twiddling her thumb.
Yeah, no,
yeah. We should probably. I mean, like it didn't really have to be. I mean, I think Bella also knows I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't. Anyway, it's going well so far, though.
If you want to know a secret, you don't actually ever end up feeling like you know what you're doing. You just, you remember, like, one day, you have to, like, I I don't know, shoe a horse or something, and you've done it before a couple of times, and then you're sort of okay. But everything else, like she kind of grabs onto you. You are terrified for the rest of your life, and then she lets you go.
Well, you know what? It's kind of a little reassuring that I'm supposed to be terrified. Great. Thanks, Hilda.
Yeah.
And it's kind of gonna like wander back toward Bella and kind of, I think, lean down and like kiss her on the cheek if she's sitting on the stairs and just be like, how's it going?
I mean, it's going all right. How did that go?
Yeah, great. So none of us
Like,
know what we're
amazing?
doing.
Oh my God, it's like so true.
Great.
That's
Okay. Well, you know what? There's a little bit of there's a little bit of what's the word? Just accepting that and just going with it. I mean, really, we've all done what we thought was right pretty much this whole time, and it's worked out pretty well most of the time. So why not just keep doing that? Right? Seems simple enough.
Right. Why not? I mean, it's worked so far and it's been pretty entertaining. So,
I mean, think about my sister. She overcomplicated everything by being too smart. We just do the opposite.
to be
Yeah,
honest, I
that's
think I kissed her a lot, but not like that sentence sounds worse than I wanted it to. It's weird that she's in a hole, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I'm not
like,
super comfortable
that's
with
really
that.
weird.
I'm sorry. Like maybe I overhear a little bit. I'm sorry. Your sister's in a hole.
Yeah, just kind of like meant like just
Okay.
one of those like
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, so she got into some trouble. And now she lives in a hole, I guess, forever.
She was on the other
Oh,
side of things. They threw in her oubliettes.
oh, so okay. So she's not dead. She just lives in a grave. Okay.
Yeah, which might be worse.
It
Yeah, it
does
might be
sound
worse.
like it. Mhm. Should she live in a? I mean, obviously she deserved something.
It doesn't feel very reconstructive to me, to be
Like
honest.
rehabilitation.
I mean, if I started all of these things a little bit like, oh, cool people that I can use, and now I'm smooching one of you, I can change. And if my mom can change, I feel like anyone can change. I'm just gonna like catch
Yeah.
myself halfway through a sentence and look at you. Let's go. Wow. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I mean, no, you're right, right? I hope.
Right.
Yeah, like life lesson. It's very hard to change in a hole, sort of cartoon fashion.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard enough
Yeah.
in general, but you know, the whole
Yeah.
doesn't help. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe we need to
Okay.
figure out, maybe we need to talk to some folks about something different. Maybe some sort of anti-magic barrier. Well,
It doesn't
people who are dangerous
do a whole lot
rehabilitate,
of good.
or yeah, also like
Yeah.
just feeding someone in a hole for the rest of their lives. What good is that for anybody? The guy who ran the whole oubliette thing didn't seem to like it either. And not like on a moral level, but he seemed bored.
It's very hard. It's very boring to run the hole.
All right, we got two angles here. We discovered an axis of benefit for both parties.
Yeah.
Perfect.
A couple more of the serpent people come running in. They say, we've got the bath set up for you, and Mother Blightwood has a meal service being delivered. So if you want
Great.
to come right this way.
Sounds good. Heading out.
Glad you're awake.
I'm glad to be awake. Have fun, kids, while I sort of sort some things out.
The bath is a really good place to do that, and usually no one bothers you either. So
Usually, yeah. So just
okay,
hobbling off.
we'll be here. And just kind
Both the words to herself, usually doing a lot of lifting in this sentence.
as you arrive in the bath area, it's a hot spring that seems to be naturally occurring in this mountain. Um, the decor, like, nope, they haven't like resculpted the walls, so there's still like skulls and bats and dragons and whatnot carved into the rock of the room. But now there's like ivy and like a rose bush and all these sort of growing on it. So rather than recarve it, they've just sort of covered it. But the bath is warm, and there is a um, tray filled with various treats sitting next to it.
It's, yeah, she takes stuff off, gets in the bath, just sort of eats the various treats, and it's like, what is my life? What is it's like is Hilda warrior princess having, a somewhat evil bath with treats right now.
As you're working through the treats, you do get to one. It's kind of a almost fortune cookie like confection, and as you crack it open, there is a note on there that says, um, "I'm certain you need time, but whenever you want to talk, I would love to." And then it's signed by Mother Blightwood.
I think she's tempted to crumple it, but she puts it aside. And just all right. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna talk God knows about what, and we're gonna, maybe I'll get back to raising my goats. That sounds good. That sounds fine. We wanted to be on an adventure. We don't need to be on adventures at our age. That's fine.
Excellent. And you're kind of going through this, like facing like the idea of like a life change in the tub, and trying to process all this strangeness that you've encountered outside that bath area. Um, you're all greeted. I guess Bella and Alis, a snake person comes running in and says, excuse me, there's a visitor here that wanted to see you, but I wanted to make sure it was okay before I gave them entryway."
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
I mean, of course, why not?
Yeah, it's open to everyone, but who?
It is the great wizard Mustachio.
Oh yeah, sure, show him in. Yeah.
I
Excellent.
should probably get some work. Fine.
Mustachio comes walking in on his
Gird her cheeks for the pinching. She's gonna like steal her face.
Sort of floating, like with his arms crossed, and he's like 5 feet above the ground, and his mustache is actually doing the walking as he enters the room.
Alis is fine with this, but CJ is troubled every time.
He has the mustache set him down, and it sort of slurps back up onto his face like spaghetti. And he says, "Alis, thank you so much for your assistance in quelling the violent goblin uprising. I appreciate it. They were starting to become quite a threat to the townsfolk."
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, we want to keep everybody safe. And second, there are ways that we can resolve things without violence. And maybe some of the goblins took that away from the fight, hopefully.
Yes, I'm certain they may have.
Hopefully.
Well, I love that plucky optimism, and that's part of why I've come here. I think we may have some more trouble brewing that might require intervention, and perhaps you can resolve it without violence. Wouldn't that be lovely?
Yeah. What's the problem?
Um, there is rumor that giants are gathering to the north. They seem to be rallying around a leader who claims that as long as the Blightwoods, and he kind of just like raises an eyebrow as he looks over at Bella, remain in power, that we can never know peace. Um, it seems that he may be trying to amass an army of giant folk.
Okay. So, and looks over at Bella.
I,
Shall we?
Does this giant have a name? We'll look awkwardly at aliens.
Our intelligence has not gotten his name yet. We do know that he is operating under the title the Suffering One.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
Sneaking suspicion that I
You
might
maybe
entirely be at fault
know who
here.
that is.
God dang.
That's all right. We can smooth. We can try to smooth things over. That's
We can try?
yeah.
If
Well,
there's
Maybe
if we've only
I can put a
gone
mustache
in,
on and he won't recognize me.
and I think
would
it's
you like
better
to
if you.
would you like to borrow some? I've been working
Oh, please no.
on creating clippings.
Ah, I'm good. Thank you, my friends.
Did anyone else hear the well-timed siren in the back of my?
I did not, and I regret
It
that I
was like
didn't.
apparently my mic cancellation is very good, but you were like clippings, and then it was just like.
Yes, it is. It is a new experiment of mine. I wanted to see if I can uh, imbue this power into a squad of other mages.
Wow,
How wonderful.
that's great. I think Bella should probably we should go as us. If we've wronged this person in some way, we can't put it right by pretending to be someone else.
Probably. I hate this.
Do you think that they have a
Okay, it's kind of
legitimate?
good to be like frustrated with the situation again, though. That feels nice. That feels right. I'm glad for that. Okay.
I said, do you feel they have
Getting back into
some?
the swing of things here.
Do you feel they have some sort of legitimate complaint against you?
Mm,
On the way
sort of. I
to
may have attempted to impersonate my mother at one point to get past someone. And that impersonation was perhaps successful, but it turns out that was not a good idea. And then we ran away.
yeah, she'd made some enemies we didn't anticipate. So yeah,
Well,
I think certainly legitimate grievance with my mom. I think a lot of people do.
that's true. I mean, we're still very much working on getting the public to accept that she has turned over a new leaf. And the Mage Council has publicly taken responsibility for her. I don't know that that will affect what the Giants are rallying around, but you're welcome to um, note that to them. And if you'd like, I can even send a representative.
yeah. What do you think? That's probably a good idea, right, Bella?
Probably. I'm not sure how giants feel about the Mage Council.
Mm. That is true. We did drive them out of a few of the areas that we wanted to
Ah,
settle a while ago. I mean, this was two generations of mages ago, but they may hold a grudge.
It's like a giant never forgets. Isn't that how that goes?
Something along those lines.
Well, I have an idea. It could be a great one or a really bad one. But it
Mhm.
strikes me that maybe we owe the giants some respect. And if the council took some things from them, maybe we can find something meaningful to give back.
There are some difficulties in giving back what we took.
Okay. Like what?
Like we would have to move the city.
Right. Um, it's not the same, but can we give them we don't have like any artifacts of theirs, right? We didn't take their artifacts.
Oh yes, we have several.
Yeah, what if we gave
Yeah,
those
they're all
back?
up in a museum, right?
They are in the museum.
Because you're not done
That's
looking at them, if I remember correctly. Right? Yes.
great. What if we helped them make a museum?
We
What if
can
we
talk to
gave their
them.
stuff back and then maybe also helped them become their own respected entity?
I can
Do you
run
think that
that.
would be a good start?
I can run the second part. I definitely like more than the first, but I can definitely run it by the Mage Council and see what they have to say.
Look, I might be oversimplifying this, but some artifacts feels better than none. So if we can't have all of them to give back, if we could have some of them, that'd be great.
I'll see what I can do. In the meantime, um, if you decide you're going to go that way, let me know. I'll make sure that we send a negotiator with you.
I think we yeah. What Bella, what do you think?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, we'll get a small team together at a little group of a few of us, and a negotiator would be helpful. We want them to know the Mage Council is serious about taking them seriously and not putting their people at risk. If they feel they're at risk because the Blightwoods are in charge, then the best thing for us to do is to put things in place so that they don't feel at risk anymore, right?
Not really that
Certainly.
in charge, anyways.
No, but they do. I believe they have a point in saying that if the Blightwoods have this mountain, they have access to immense power.
That
True.
is like pretty true. Yeah.
And, they people do see the champion of the realm flying out of this castle repeatedly. So that's a thing too.
Yeah, we're trying to like repaint it and make it look more approachable, but it's a really big castle and it takes a little bit of time.
There's also
I still think we should give the skull a hat. That would change a
Yeah.
lot.
I
That's
I
a great
agree it would alter the aesthetics of the place. I don't know that that would undo centuries of reputation as being a den of evil. But, I mean, maybe if
Yeah,
it's
but
a
what if
very
it's like a
festive
really
hat.
good hat, like a sombrero? That would get us 50 years at least.
You know what? That would be pretty good because then we're also making fun of the evil. We'll workshop it. Anyway, if you could send a representative, that'd be great, and we'll get ourselves together. Uh, and we have some other things that we'd love to talk about, but let's one step at a time.
Of course. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it. And his mustache reaches back out, lifts him off the ground. He folds his arms, and it just walks him out backwards.
Alis waves until he's out of sight. Like, well, that went well, I guess. I mean, considering the fact that we've apparently upset the giants.
I mean, sounds like they've got some pretty legitimate grievances, though.
Yeah. Well, the giants we've encountered so far have been like super willing to,
Trying to crush us.
able to talk, willing to talk is probably not right, but able to talk to us. So like if we can just get past a
Sure.
barrier, maybe we can make some headway.
One can hope.
Wonderful. And on that note, how long is Hilda going to stay in the bath?
I think she's gonna get out, get dressed. Also think about maybe these skulls in here could use hats.
Like walk in tying a robe. Like, you ever think about putting hats on the skull?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Like maybe she takes one of the roses and puts it on top of the skull, and it's like that's a hat, and like what wanders out in her purple robe, uh, like still kind of looking for like her armor and stuff.
Oh, your
Just kind of
your clothing would have been folded and like set up and ready to go. So like your armor's there, plus whatever
Okay.
you wear over it normally, is all there
Okay.
in the bathroom. So
okay. I'll get my metal bikini on, and then my old lady sack over it in case we need to have a dramatic rip away moment. And so we're gonna go see Mother Blightwood.
all right, you go walking out and heading instead of heading back up to the throne room, you start heading down a set of stairs, and you come to an area where, like, as you're walking down these stairs, you start to hear like metallic, like banging. Sounds like somebody working a forge.
I'll check that out.
All right, you walk in, you see a guy. He's probably 5'8", 5'9". Think like Bruce Campbell, Army of Darkness kind of look to him, but with a beard. And he's working on the forge. Seems to be working on what looks like a large shield. And he kind of looks over his shoulder and says, "Oh, you're Hilda.
I am.
I'm so glad to see that you're awake." He sets down the hammer and says, extends a hand. He says, "I'm Duncan."
I shake it. Very nice to meet you, Duncan. It's a nice setup you have here.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a little bit of an upgrade from the cobbler shop I was working at, but principles are mostly the same. You hit things with a hammer until they look like what you want them to look like.
Well, what are you working on lately?
Just trying to get some updated armor for our guardians. We've been discussing unionizing with the serpent folk and getting them decent compensation for their work. Also, maybe some armor and armaments rather than sending them out with a pat on the head and a please go die for our cause. So I'm learning a little bit of blacksmithing.
Well, it's a commendable that you're learning a new trade. I thinking about a new look.
Oh, are you? I like designing stuff. So yeah, do you have anything particular in mind?
I'm thinking maybe I should be fully clothed when I don't know.
Whoa. You're getting ahead of things here. Come on. Let's be reasonable.
Yeah,
Crop
no,
top at most.
yeah, no, I'm thinking maybe my armor should cover I just the way I think of her is she's wearing like the highest, V that like from the 80s,
Right.
like that one of those, yeah. And the she's like she was like Red Sonja, like that level of just
Yeah, yeah,
bikini
yeah.
armor. And like maybe I could do with like normal full plate with like the part in the front which actually like turns blades away instead of like directing them directly at my sternum, like with the metal.
I
Like,
it's an odd request, but I understand.
yeah. No, no.
He says,
Like,
"No,
I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Let's get your measurements if you don't mind."
Yeah, sure.
He
And I
walks.
just take it off, tear away the clothes as if we're used to it, just chainmail bikini. I'm like, I look great. It's just, I just don't think it stops swords or anything.
No, yeah, this is probably you, and you fought your whole career like this, right? Like that's it's astonishing that you never got impaled on several spears. Um,
I did a few times, and it turned out okay. But but I just feel like it might be a problem at my age. Like you can't just fight with several spears in you.
yeah, yeah, I could see that being something that might slow you down. Um, as you are getting the final measurements done, you hear a voice from behind you, from out like the doorway, saying, "I don't know. I always liked the old look, but I also would like you to not get run through by spears." And it is, in fact, Mother Blightwood.
If I recall, you might have been magically directing some of the spears at some point.
It sounds like something I probably would have done. Yeah. I apologize. Duncan, are you almost done? And he goes, "Yep, just one last." He makes a little mark. All right, I am done, and uh, looks like you all have some stuff to talk about, so I'll just get out of my forge. And he starts like getting ready to leave. And she says, "No,
All right.
that's not necessary. Why don't you do you want to talk, Hilda?"
Sure. What's up?
She extends her hand out and says, "This way."
I think I follow her. I don't think I take the
She
hand. Like
she
just
sort
kind
of
of.
pulls it back in and nods and leads you down the hallway further to an exit where it takes you out onto a um, sort of it takes you to the exterior of the mountain to an outcropping where you can kind of look over the land. And you can see the various, uh, colors. It looks like it's early autumn, so some of the leaves are starting to change. It's just a beautiful view. And she says, "I almost ruined all this. And it was the kids that stopped me, and my memory of you was a big part of that. And I know I can never make up for what I did. But I can try to do better, and I can try to protect all this, and I can try to be on the right side for whatever time I have left. I completely understand if you don't want to be involved in that or want to be around that, but I would like you to be."
Well, I think she relaxed a little bit at the I can't make up for all of that because the kids are still at the point where they think you can just do better and it's all better. And I think we're at the age where we know that's not entirely true.
Not always.
Yeah. But I'll help as much as I can to do some repair. But just us is never going to be a thing again. I just hope you know that. It's just not.
She nods and says, I understand why you'd feel that way. I don't expect you to take me back into your life in that way, and I don't expect you to forgive me. But if you can accept that I'm trying and not reject that effort, that is more than enough for me.
All right. All right.
Good.
You got a good kid. You had a good kid. Unexpectedly good.
She turned out, I mean, she's a gross disappointment, but otherwise,
I think I get in and say, if you ever say that to me again, I will clock you.
she nods. I was just trying to inject a little humor into the situation. No, she's
okay.
She's
No,
amazing.
sorry.
She says, no, I had wanted her to be like me, and thankfully she's not. Thankfully for you and for me and for all of creation, she's not.
Yeah.
And that is the best one can hope for. But
that's right.
I'll get out of your hair then. If you need anything, let me know. I know you had your farm. Do you want me to relocate it closer so that you can?
If you could fetch my goats, that would be good. But I think just leave the. We'll let it go fallow for a while, and we'll get me my goats. It'll be good.
She says, "Can do," and she waves her staff in a circle and creates a portal and steps through it.
That went well.
Where are you going from there?
I think I'm going to find the kids.
All right. So when last we saw Bella and Alis, you were still in the throne room, kind of talking about what you're going to do. It hasn't been too long, so are you still in the throne room, or are there other things you'd like to be doing?
Maybe they do just kind of, maybe they go get a little bit of lunch and kind of are just discussing their plan of action. And I think Alis is like, we should definitely bring Hilda. We'll bring if she wants to come,
I mean,
obviously.
of course.
And we'll bring the representative. I hope it's someone who's not a jerk. That'll make things hard.
I'm kind of worried about that, to be honest. But I guess we'll see. I mean, you know what? I guess I've been wrong about people before. Maybe the Mages Council aren't garbage. But
I mean, some of them have been
like a big maybe. I'm just saying, it's like the biggest maybe currently.
A lot of the folks that were under my sister really, like Elita, misled them a little bit, but they seemed like they genuinely thought they were doing good and wanted to do good. So
I guess
should be fine. They're just bureaucratic, right? But I guess we all have to be a little bit that now that we own a big scary castle.
So
own is a strong word.
And we're making it less scary bit by bit.
So as throughout this conversation, you would imagine the camera being very like close up and two shot, but not quite. We haven't gotten an establishing shot of where you all are at yet. So where is this lunch taking place? As the camera zooms
You want a
out.
picnic on the top of the skull again?
Yeah. I feel like they
Yeah.
just sit on top of the skulls sometimes. That's like their spot.
Beautiful. As the camera zooms out to the top of the skull where this picnic is laid out, you see Hilda come walking up the stairs to the roof, having been directed as to where to find the others from the serpent, one of the serpent people running around. Um, yeah, and Hilda walks up to the picnic.
Oh, this looks nice. How are you guys doing?
Good. Do you want some cheese?
Yeah.
I'll have some cheese.
How was your
So
bath?
some
Kind of like scoots
good.
to make room on the.
Good. They do have like skulls looking at you
Uh-huh.
during the bath, which is,
Weird.
We should probably
I
fix
mean,
that, or just give
yeah.
them little hats. Just call it
Right?
like-
Right?
was-
Okay, you're with me. You're with me on the hats. We just need to get
I'm-
little hats.
I was thinking about the hats. Like I saw there were like roses. I put a little rose on it, the head. I don't know like if we could do something edgy, something a little fashion forward. Maybe a Philip
rose
Treacy. Yeah.
like a live, like a one of those grassy walls, but with roses, and the skulls can just be in there and happy. Hopefully, I don't know their skulls.
Peeking out like dead faces amongst a wall of thorns?
Yeah.
A wall of flowers. A wall of flowers.
Some mixed
Yeah,
aesthetics here, I think.
we should. Yeah, we could. I mean, we could mix in some morning glory or
I mean,
something.
my nursery of
It's not
thorns and
just
skulls
thorns.
growing up. I'm not going to knock the aesthetic, but it surprises me that this is what you want to go for.
Maybe some wildflowers.
We could put some. I'm trying to think. Well, we could put some flesh on the skulls. That might be worth.
No, that's bad.
Oh no!
They had flesh
I
once.
guess
They
it
don't.
depends where you get the flesh from. Is it like locally
No.
sourced?
I don't think it depends.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe you're right.
We'll work
Workshop
on the
it.
evil skull. Well, yeah, we'll work on the evil skull problem.
Maybe we just like wall them in like a catacomb and let them rest so they don't have to watch you while you're bathing.
Trap the skulls. That sounds good.
Know that behind every wall could be an array of skulls staring infinitely into the void.
Look,
That's
you
true,
never
Penny.
know. You never know when you flip a house. You never know what you're gonna find.
You turn a real profit on that castle if you start using it as an Airbnb. Just
I don't think we've had restrictions in yet.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask the Mage Council.
Yeah, put some vinyl floors in. We'll be like, no. So any I mean, it sounds like everything's going great. There are no problems and
Yeah, except for the fact that the giants are amassing to the north.
I think she cheers up a little bit. What's this about giants?
Well, they're maybe raising an army.
Actually,
Turns
we
out
were
Good,
thinking
that
we'd go
local
talk.
country might have seized all of their land a couple of generations ago and kicked them to the fringes. And then I also impersonated my mom at one point in an ill-advised kind of way. And now they want to, go to war about it.
Maybe they're basically saying that as long as there are Blightwoods in power, they can't be safe. But there aren't really Blightwoods in power, and if there is a Blightwood in power, it's not Mother Blightwood. She's more of a guest, really, right now, anyway. And we just think there's a number of things we need to clear up with them, and also that maybe we should. Well, we've asked a representative from the Mage Council to come with us when we go. Obviously, it would be helpful if you come too, if you like.
I mean, sure, if you don't.
Yeah, no.
We think the Mage Council maybe owes them some things.
Yeah. Is
Mhm.
there any reason just to not give the land back?
It's the city.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, maybe we could
Mm.
relocate, but it is a little more of a challenge than trying to offer them something commensurate. And oh, that was a big word for A-list.
It hurt
Wow,
as she
Yeah.
was getting
you look impressed.
It's a big word. Yeah, we're all looking at her like, big word for all of us.
Also, I said that maybe we should give some of their artifacts back.
Mhm.
And
Oh, yeah.
Mustachio's gonna take that to the council, and hopefully something good will come of it.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds like a something that can be just talked out. But she sort of hums
Hopefully.
a little bit. Like maybe
Hopefully,
we'll, yeah,
or
we'll have
But
to
you
hit
never
very
know.
few
They
people.
might have a vaguely justified cause and the desire to hurt people. We'll find out together.
or
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe it's a sort of like we fight the leader thing, and if we win, we um still give them respect because that's what we should probably be doing anyway.
Yeah.
I've just had a thought that I
Hmm?
should have mentioned to Mustachio, so I'll have to get a hold of him. But it would probably be good if the representative from the council brought an artifact as a token to start the negotiations. All this
I
politics
just,
stuff is weird.
it is.
That does seem like
I'm,
a good idea.
I'm a pretty simple woman, and I'm having trouble keeping track of who the bad guy is here. And I'm going to have to hit whoever the bad guy is. So hopefully that's not us.
I it's sort of one of those
Hopefully.
situations, right, where I guess the bad guy is situational.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
yeah,
talk to Miss, get a hold of. I'm sure we have some magical means of communication. I'll be back. And I think
Mhm.
Alis will pop out for a minute to, I don't know, magic mirror Mustachio and be like, "Bring an artifact."
So you're gonna try to reach out to Miss Ashio via whatever sort of magic communications you might have there in the castle.
Yeah, just to be like, "Hey, remember that thing?" Like literally, this is the TLDR. We don't even have to play it out unless you have something. But basically, Alis will be like, "Hey, remember that thing I said about the artifacts? Well, we could probably get them like on our side. Really, maybe at least start negotiations in a good place if we brought one. So if you could just have like your representative that you're bringing over to bring like one of the artifacts, just like one artifact, that would be great. That would be a really good way to start this, I think. So please, just like, I know it's going to be hard to get them to get like to let go of the giant's artifacts because I'm sure they're very shiny, and but like one, and that's gonna basically be the message that Alis or that Mustachio gets from Alis. Probably all in one breath as well.
Sure. Miss Ashio says, "Yes, I'm sending our representative to you right now. I'll make sure that they have a artifact
That's excellent.
with them."
Thank you so much. That's great. Thank you. Bye. Alis was gonna be like, "Who's the representative?" And then is like, "I'll find out soon." So, um, Alis just wanders back up, but I don't know if you guys wanted to have any conversation while Alis is gone or not.
I think Bella's gonna look real awkward.
it sounds
How's stuff?
been in a coma. It's sort of last I knew. We were fighting with Mustachio, like with Mustachio. I don't think we were fighting Mustachio.
Hmm.
And I guess I got knocked out or something. And
It was a spell
that's
that I couldn't reverse.
Well,
without dealing with the whole situation.
I mean, it sounds like you've done very well here. I think it's good you kids are doing all of this, but obviously it's very hard, trying to undo trying to undo evil is a little bit like putting a sombrero on a skull.
So it's a good idea then, right? You're with me on the skull sombrero, the skullbrero,
Yeah.
if you will. Okay, but it could also serve as
Yeah.
balance with it too. Gonna like tap the side
Honestly,
of her head.
honestly, yeah,
Brilliant thinking.
that is
Brilliant
the
thinking.
lesson. That is the lesson. You should definitely put a sombrero on a skull.
Okay, but
That's
like
the best
also,
thing you
yeah,
could.
I know it's hard.
Yeah. So,
Um,
but we'll
I,
figure it
I
out. We'll move
think
forward. Yeah, we can only move forward. We can only. That's all we can do.
mhm.
Hopefully, maybe we should bring a sombrero to the giants. We can put the sombrero on the giants.
Maybe if I wear the sombrero and a dashing mustache, they won't even recognize me, and I won't get smashed by a giant.
Well, I'll smash them back if they lay a finger on you.
Okay, fair enough.
Um, all that said, about that time, it makes her way back up to the roof.
Oh, just kind of looks out over the scenery and puts her hands on her hips and goes, I was thinking about the sombrero.
It's hard
What
not
about a
to.
top hat?
Oh,
Top hat would be nice. Are you guys ready to go? Well, to get ready to go.
Yeah.
Mustachio
now I'm thinking about
says
top hats, but
the representative's on the way. I didn't bother to ask who the representative was. I figured we'll find out soon.
I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, and they're bringing an artifact. So
Hopefully
even
we
if,
can pull it out.
yeah, I mean, even if things don't go well, maybe if we give this to them now, maybe in a generation they'll remember that we tried.
Sure. Let's
We'll see.
The endless optimism. All right, you head back in and start gathering your things. I think that's a wonderful point for us to go ahead and take 5 for our biological and technological needs. If you are
Woo!
watching
Sounds good.
this
Sounds good.
live, feel free to either hang out or head over to, there's a couple things you could go do. You can go pick up your copy of They Came from the Cyclops' Cave. That is available in POD and PDF over at Drive-Thru RPG and will be coming to your friendly local game stores very soon. Alternatively, you can also head over to the backer kit page for the SPU core book, the Storypath Ultra core book. That's going to be coming up to backer kit very soon. You can sign up now to be informed when the crowdfunding campaign goes live. I've thrown both of those in the chat, and I will be back momentarily. If you're watching this on VOD, just fast forward to see our pretty faces again, and we will see you real soon.